Hi, welcome to Healthful Conversations. This is a brand new show that I just started, and really it just kind of stemmed out of the need to just have discussions and that are helpful and uplifting, and how we can take care of our mental health during this crisis. These are unprecedented times that we're living in with the coronavirus not only impacting our lives, but the entire world. So, I figured during these times of social distancing, it can be really hard, very difficult to navigate through everything that's going on as we adjust through life and consider what is or what could be our new normal. There's so much that's going on out there, and really the question is, how do we navigate? How do we sort through all of the noise? That's what this show is about. So today, I brought in my colleague and my good friend, Marcial. He is a licensed clinical social worker, and we're going to be talking about how can we manage anxiety in the midst of this crisis. So, Marcial,
Nice
hi.
having
How are you?
Pretty good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, well, thank you for joining our show. So, a lot has changed in the past couple weeks. What's your experience been like?
Just like I think like everybody else, we're just kind of have to stay at home, figure out what to do, read, play board games, puzzles, and just trying to stay active, trying to trying to avoid the news as much as I can almost also because every time I turn on your news feed on your phone or the TV or people too, like in like my group chats, there's always one or two people that are always just throwing all the negativity or I mean it's news and they're probably trying to help, but at the same time when you read that it just kind of raises your anxiety a little bit.
Right, right. So, just to kind of give a little bit of a summary of what's been going on these past few weeks, we have what we're, I guess what some folks are calling the toilet paper rush, right?
Yeah,
People hitting that panic button and panic mode.
yeah.
There's no food in the groceries. It's kind of wild out there. Some
And
might even say chaotic.
well, I look at it like I try not to I don't know when I hear things like that about like oh there's no food and there's food. There's plenty of food out in the grocery stores that I've seen and it's just food that you normally don't get, or maybe that you don't want. Like the common things are all gone, like potatoes and
Right.
certain things. But if you're not gonna starve, we're not gonna starve. There's so much food, and I just went to Winco yesterday, and the whole store is practically full still. So
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
I think a lot of like when the whole thing came up with this toilet paper thing, I think that was a panic buy. Like that is a fear, right? So people start
Right.
behaving because they're motivated by that fear and they started hearing, oh, people are buying up toilet paper. One person hears it and then it just kind of trickles down and it has this effect where everybody hears it, then social media gets a hold of it, and then you start getting the pictures of, hey, look at the toilet paper aisle, it's empty,
Right.
and then it causes
Yeah.
more fear. So
hmm Yeah. So speaking of fear, right? I think that that brings a lot of anxiety. Or I can, would you agree that a lot of the tension and anxiety is kind of out there? Can you tell us a little bit about that? Like
well, yeah,
anxiety, what does it look like?
so anxiety comes up in a different way. So a lot of it, when it first comes up, a lot of people try to talk about like worries, right? Thoughts,
hmm
like what's going on in our head. Like in regards to the toilet paper example, right? A lot of people might have think, oh no, like there's not going to be enough toilet paper. Let me stock up on toilet paper, and then that motivates that fear, that thinking, okay, I'm going to be without, right? Like anything, like water or any necessity.
hmm
If we go without, then that creates a little anxiety. So that thought first comes up as, "Uh-oh, what am I gonna do? I'm not gonna have it,"
hmm
right? And then after the thought, then people start actually feeling it, right? Like even when I went to the store, um, I had tortillas at the house, but I brought an extra pack just because I thought, oh, you know what? This is gonna maybe what if next time I come, there's not gonna be any, right? And it was
Right.
just a one pack. It wasn't like I'm hoarding the whole shelf, but still, I even found myself feeling like a tightness in my chest. I started feeling like just tightness in my muscles. I usually get it in tightness in the muscle, but other people get it like they start breathing heavier. They start sweating. Their voice starts cracking.
Right.
Uh, all different types of things. They have trouble sleeping. You
Mhm.
know, so all these physical symptoms that come about when people have anxiety, it's real. A lot of people think
Yeah.
anxiety is just in the mind, right? But no, anxiety just takes over your whole person. So,
Right. Isn't it amazing how with just a thought, your whole body can respond? Right. And
well,
I have
yeah,
a story to that. Like the other day I somebody called me and told me, hey, you might have been exposed. Immediately, like I felt my heart, I
yeah,
just felt my chest get tightened, and I'm like, I can't breathe.
yeah,
My heart started beating really fast. I felt hot,
yeah,
and it was just I was fine before, but as soon as they told me that there might be a slight chance that I might have been exposed, um, I just my whole body just changed.
yeah.
And so, how can we tell the difference between when we're experiencing anxiety? Because some of us might not be aware when we're
Mhm.
experiencing anxiety versus actual symptoms.
Well, symptoms of the illness, you mean,
Yeah,
or
right. Or
yeah? So
something that's not
So
related. Yeah.
the first thing that people would have to know that we all have this fight and flight or freeze mechanisms in our body, right? So if you see a
Mhm.
tiger in a jungle, you're automatically gonna be frightful and have those thoughts, and then your body's gonna react, right? You're gonna have tightness in chest. You're gonna maybe your allergies flare up because your stress is up and your
Mhm.
cortisol levels go up. So
Right.
then everything else follows suit with that. So allergies might go up just because you're stressed. Your immunity might go down because you're stressed out too. So
Mhm.
just keep in mind that when you are in a stressful situation, a lot of different things may occur, right? That might not have to do with the actual symptoms. In order for the symptoms, there's a good website that the government just kind of created real quickly last week. It's called coronavirus.gov.
Mhm.
Coronavirus.gov. And right there, they give you, it's a beautiful website because you just kind of go to it and they just give you all the facts that you need to know, the symptoms, the rates, what to do with a family members infected. And if
Mhm.
you scroll all the way to the bottom, it's in Spanish too. So you can click the Spanish version
Mhm.
and it comes up. So that's a good resource. First, in order to combat these, your anxiety, you have to know, right? So knowledge is key to everything, right? If you don't know, we fear the unknown, right?
Mhm.
As
Mhm.
humans, as everything. So first, get yourself educated. I would recommend go to that website and find out what really are the symptoms and what isn't, and whether or not you're just feeling a shortness of breath because you're anxious. You know?
Right. Exactly. I think knowledge is power. And, going back to my situation, I knew in my head that maybe this isn't really so. So I had to use some techniques for myself to calm myself down and challenge some of those thoughts, right? So,
Yeah, yeah,
am I really exposed? Am I really having symptoms? Not really, not until I had this thought in my mind, which is when I started to experience
yeah,
all the symptoms. I shouldn't say all the symptoms, but I started to experience some physical
yeah,
symptoms as a result of the thought, but it wasn't there before that thought. So that's something that helped me just to kind of challenge that thought. Like, okay, did I have this before I thought about it? And the answer
yeah,
was
yeah,
no. So I was able to calm myself down.
yeah. So a lot of people even forget, like, do I usually have allergies during springtime? Because a lot of that nasal drip that
Mm-hmm.
also can create like people to cough, and so just be aware of your normal body routines, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Was this here before all this news came out?
Right. So, what are some solutions? What can we do to kind of mitigate some of this anxiety?
So a lot of times, the anxiety is kind of like a trigger, right? Sometimes we can't control how our body reacts to news, to
Mhm.
things like that, but we can't counteract things, right? So if a lot of things, if you hear uh, things from rumors or people that are giving you information, try to get the facts from reliable sources. So that's why I mentioned that
Right.
website, because
Mhm.
a lot of times, like if I my you know if my friends are texting me and I'm looking at the video chat, there's a lot of things that might not be true or accurate. Some people are posting it's martial law in some cities, and it's not. It's just that there's government aid
Mhm.
utilizing certain military, what is it called, um, a branch, right,
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
just to help out medically. So a lot of things, keep try to get reliable sources. Go to that website, like I had mentioned, and just get knowledge so you can know, right? Another thing too, physically, once you start feeling that anxious, there's a lot of things we can do, like exercise.
Mhm.
You know, just like how my daughter, when she went home with the school packet and everything, they also include PE, exercises for 25 minutes a day to make sure not only that exercise makes you healthier, right? But it also gives you it also like de-stresses you, right?
Mhm.
If you're exhausted or if you get a little workout, your body's jazzed up, your muscles are pumped, and you start feeling a little bit better.
Mm. Yeah.
Another thing too is eat well, right? What is that? Food is medicine,
Mhm.
right?
That's
So
hard when you're home all day.
yeah, it's hard. So like when you go to the grocery store, right, and you're stocking up for the week or your 5 days that you're gonna be home,
Mhm.
try to be aware of the things that you're putting in your body. So eat a lot of colors. That's what I'm not a nutritionist by any means, but I would recommend eat a lot of colors, right? Fruits, vegetables, um, a lot of things that'll help your body. Not too many carbs. Avoid sugary drinks, things like that, because that ultimately doesn't help you with your energy, and it doesn't help you with your anxiety. Also, if
Mhm.
you're overcharging your body's going to be pumped, especially when those cortisol levels increase when you're
Mhm.
stressed
Yeah.
out. Another thing too is sleep. Make sure you're getting your 8 hours. I know a lot of people are working from home or aren't working. And I know that comes with another added stress, and I feel for people who are have a reduction of hour in pay, and that's a
Right.
big stress, right? That's a huge stress. So try to maintain your normal sleeping hours as best as you can, because sleep is what our body needs to recharge,
Mm.
and also try to take the screens off. I know a lot of times we're interacting right now a lot with the screens and Zoom meetings and Google Hangouts and the what is the iPhone one? I forget. What
FaceTime.
FaceTime. FaceTiming each other, right? So a lot of that screen time, I found myself yesterday. I had like two meetings over the computer, and then I did some notes on the computer, and then I did some video chats with family members on my phone. By the time it was 9 o'clock, my eyes were really dry. I felt
Mm.
like I had like a tension headache in front of my head. So just be aware of how much screen time you're having, especially during this time. Uh, Go outside, take a walk. That's what they recommend for screens. Look at things that are spatially far away. So
Mhm.
just go outside and take a walk and look at the scenery. Just kind of relax your eyes a little
It's yeah, yeah, and plus you get the added benefit of getting some fresh air. I like what the suggestions that you're adding: eating right, exercising, moving. Um, I'd like to add, kind of thinking on or meditating, thinking whatever suits people
bit.
better.
Cognitively, there's
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. There's more. Okay, sorry.
well, well, no, that's good. Like cognitively, like what I've been doing is, I was reading a study too that from the United Kingdom. It came out in 2012, and they suggested that this was primarily focused on like loneliness and dealing with depression, especially with the older population, and for some like I guess the age ranges from like 18 to 64. But it was basically looking at people who felt loneliness, and they found that reading actually helped reduce the feeling of loneliness and isolation, especially during this time. When we feel anxious, we want people around, right? We want people to feel, we want to feel that comfortness from other people. But since
Mhm.
we can't have it at this time, they found in this study, they found that reading also helps, not only with them, but other people with other disabilities, like blind people, also found that reading also helped them feel more connected. And it also helps just reading stories about relationships. Like, I was telling you yesterday about reading stories about Emma, Pride and Prejudice, The Good Earth,
Mhm.
stories about relationships and struggles and things like that
Right.
helps people kind of identify themselves in the story and get lost in it. So that way they don't feel so isolated, And then meditation also helps, you know.
Right. Meditation. I was thinking maybe thinking on positive things,
Yeah.
things that are
Mhm.
uplifting.
Yeah.
I agree that, we can be bombarded with the media and the news.
Yeah.
So it would be good to probably limit the amount of time that you spend
Yeah.
watching it. Maybe just pick a certain time of the day where you want to just catch
Yeah.
up on what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
Because it can be overwhelming, and sometimes you know what's right, you know what to do, but when you keep hearing people talking about things, you start getting a little nervous, right? Like,
Yeah.
going back with the toilet paper, like I have toilet paper in my house. I buy it about once a month, or
Yeah.
no, once every 6 months from Costco, and
Yeah.
it's fine for our family. And with all this Russia was going on, I was thinking, oh, do I need more toilet paper?
Yeah.
But I don't. I didn't need any, and so I had to check
Yeah.
myself and be like,
Yeah.
no, you're fine. We normally just buy it once every 4 to 6 months. We're
Hmm.
good.
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah. There's also one thing too. This website called bustle.com. So it's like hustle, but with a B
Mhm.
dot com. And they also offer, it's a cool little title. They offer 80 ways to start a conversation that doesn't have to do with Corona. A lot of times, when you look at your group chat, it's every other like message. It's some
Right.
headlines, right? Or people talking about what happened at the store, what they saw. But this is kind of nifty because if you're struggling with somebody like that in your group chat or in your family or even your at work, these are like
Right.
conversation starters that that'll lead you into a conversation outside of the pandemic that's going on.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. That's pretty cool. Just to kind of give us some topics to talk about
Yeah,
outside
and
of.
then yeah, and then they also said that the you can't be stressed during what is it said um you can't be stressed during social interaction. That and I think it was laughing,
Hmm.
right? Like you can't. It's impossible for your body to when you smile. Like your body doesn't like it's like going. It's short circuiting because it's
Hmm.
almost like you can't you can't be stressed when you're smiling and laughing or when you're having a lot of social interaction.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
when you're having that screen time with your family members, make sure to talk about something other than what's going on.
Right. That's
Talk about what you did, what exercise, what food they ate, was it good,
yeah.
you know, cover all the senses, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And can't forget that breath, taking that deep breath.
Yeah,
Very relaxing and soothing to
yeah.
the body.
A lot of times, yeah, with the meditating, it's not only is it keeping your mind clear and your thoughts positive and all that, but it's a focal point for your body to like
Hmm.
focus on your breathing, make sure you're feeling relaxed, and just kind of that mind body connection kind of.
Right. Awesome. So we have some really good solutions as a good start, to combat anxiety and how to keep our mental health, in the midst of this. And we're going to thank you, Marcel, for joining us today. I really appreciate your
Okay.
input. We're going to continue these conversations, these healthful conversations, and invite other people to kind of give us their perspective on how they're dealing with it and talk about different topics that that we have noticed that has been impacting people. So
Yeah.
thank you guys for joining us, and we really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.